world away from the Metrodome. The Twins today host the Texas Rangers on this Memorial Day weekend. 87 degrees and sunshine, and yup, we are outdoors. And a sellout crowd gathers to watch two first-place teams. The Twins 2.5 up in the Central. The Rangers hanging on right now in the AL West. And we welcome you to Fox Saturday Baseball. Along with Mark Grace, I'm Josh Lewin. Delightful day, no doubt about it. Two first-place teams, that's a plus. Why do we have two first-place teams?
Well, we've got two first-place teams, one in Minnesota here because they are just so fundamentally sound. They never beat themselves. They're the best defensive team in baseball, and Ron Gardenhire just knows how to make these guys roll. And on the other side, the Texas Rangers, I know you're shocked, but Vladimir Guerrero continues to pound the baseball. He's a one-man gang right now.
And as they gather today at this fantastic venue, your thoughts about this, Mark Grace?
Well, I got to play in the old Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome, and this place is just some kind of special. It's just got a great vibe. The Twins fans, they got something special outdoors, and they got something special in the dugout, a first-place team.
They had a hometown product. Joe Mauer set to take the field. Everybody knows Joe. Everybody loves Joe. There's a lot of other star power here today. Some of these guys might be on Fox in the All-Star game in mid-July. The Rangers and the Twins from Target Field coming up right after this. Park onto this site. They had to reroute train tracks and build a pedestrian park over the interstate, but they got it done. And today, the Minnesota Twins take on the Texas Rangers on Fox. Here are the starting lineups for the Rangers. Brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. The Rangers essentially 1 through 5 in the lineup, they can mash. After that, things start to slide a little bit. Murphy instead of Nelson Cruz today. Cruz battling a sore hamstring, so he's out. Justin Smoke has really been struggling at first base. Max Ramirez and Julio Borbon rounded out. You've got a 34-year-old right-hander on the mound, a control artiste. That is Carl Pavano from Minnesota.
Now, Carl Pavano absolutely turned his career around. He just couldn't get it done in New York, and now he's found a home here in the Twin Cities. And the Twins, well, they feel confident every time he takes the mound. He's been a He's been a stud out there, and like you said, he is a strike thrower, only 8 walks in 58 innings.
And the Rangers have drawn only 1 walk in their last 2 games, and yeah, they have to take on Carl Pavano this afternoon. We'll continue to scout him out. Check out our sprint pitcher profile for the 34-year-old.
Well, he's going to lead by example because he's the veteran of a very young, talented staff here in Minnesota. And, you know, his struggles in New York, a lot of people just don't handle that big market. Well, come on over to Minnesota. It's a much smaller market. You can relax a little bit and pitch well, and that's what he's done.
He will pitch today under bright blue skies, and these would have been the same skies had they never built this place. If we had been at the Metrodome, this day would have existed, but you and I and 40,000 people never would have known it.
Another sellout, and this is a baseball-only stadium, and you didn't get that 12 blocks away. This place just has a great vibe, Josh. You can't get enough of it.
No doubt. This game brought to you by Budweiser, official beer of the first inning, the beer that starts with full flavor and ends with a crisp, clean finish. Budweiser, it's what we do. Now, Twins president Jerry Bell said, "We wanted this place to be nice, but not ostentatious or over the top." Jerry Bell's a native of the state, knows about the concept of Minnesota nice. It is not Minnesota over the top. It's just enough.
It's fabulous.
Beautiful.
It's fabulous. It's not a mall. It's a ballpark.
Elvis Andrus up in the count 1-0. Will take and grow it to 2-0. And this constitutes a bout of wildness for Carl Pavano.
Not many 2-0 counts. He's not used to this.
Brian Gorman is your home plate umpire, rings it up to strike 1. Now, Pavano has allowed 10 runs in his last 12 innings. Andrus is going to sock one into right field. And he is a threat to run. He's got 17 stolen bases already, though he has been caught 8 times. The Minnesota Twins are on another planet defensively. This is the Scott's defensive lineup. Whoever they put at third base, no errors. Whoever they put at shortstop this year, no errors. And just, I'm pausing to let that sink in, because here we are, almost a third of the way through the season. How can you have no errors?
That's unheard of.
From the 2 positions that handle the ball all the time. I mean, Michael Young at the plate right now. He's won a Gold Glove at shortstop, and now he's a very good third baseman for the Rangers. He's got 6 errors. Elvis Andrus, all-world shortstop for the Rangers. He's got 6 errors.
It's truly amazing. And you talk about the left side of the infield. Don't forget Orlando Hudson at second base, one of the best defensive second basemen of all time.
Twins have made 10 errors all year. The average major league team, Gracie, has made 32. These guys have 10.
Unbelievable.
If you're wondering, the all-time major league record for fewest in one season is 65. That by the Mariners in 03. Their pace right now is about 33 or 34. So they would basically cut that all-time record in half.
The more you talk about it, the more unbelievable it seems.
Nice size lead for Andrus. He'll be chased back here.
As you said, he does have very good speed. And Ron Washington, manager of the Texas Rangers, saw his club only score 1 run last night. So I would imagine he might be looking to maybe jumpstart the ball game here in the first inning. He's got a guy in Michael Young that handles the bat well and good speed on first. You might see a hit and run.
Instead, it's just a hit to Hudson, who turns a 4-6-3 double play. They didn't run. And you know what? Even if they were running, unless that was right to the spot that Hudson would have vacated, that might have been a double play anyway, as long as it was hit.
You're exactly right. A routine double play from the best defensive team.
Folks, if you want to see your name on the air, you can play MLB on Fox. Tune in to win at foxsports.com/tunein. Make your predictions during the game today. And hurry up, because your predictions have to be in by the end of the second inning. Winners announced on air during the ninth. Log on to foxsports.com/tunein. Play it right now. Strike 1 to Ian Kinsler, who has worn out Carl Pavano in the past. 5 out of 6 with a couple of home runs.
put him in the lineup 2 or 3 times.
Kinsler this year missed pretty much all of April. And having played all the way through May now, still just 1 home run for Kinsler this season. He thought he had number 2 yesterday. It got overturned. Not easy to thread the needle here between the foul pole and that limestone that cuts out right near the foul pole and left, but that's exactly what Kinsler did. And that's a foul ball.
Are you a fan of replay, Josh?
The Twins are, I know that. Kinsler not so much. But yeah, I mean, that's why you...
It was originally called a home run.
I think the idea is to get it right?
I 100% agree. Now, I don't think you need it for plays at first base or second base or calls like that, but home runs, whether they're fair or foul or whether they a fan reached over or whatever, those are game-changing plays that I think need to be corrected if they're missed.
And they got it right yesterday. The Twins ended up winning that game 2-1 behind Kevin Slowey. Ted Barrett was the guy that made that call initially, and I'm sure it's a little bit of chagrin, you know, when the other guys meet and say, well, we're going to go look at it.
And overrule you.
Turns out you're wrong, but if you can swallow your ego, which I'm sure Ted Barrett did, again, the idea is to get it right. Down go the Rangers. Carl Pavano sends them packing. C.J. Wilson on the mound when we come back. Think outside the bunch. They got some lefties in this lineup against a tough lefty today. C.J. Wilson on the mound for the Rangers, but you're looking at guys who can absolutely swing the bat against tough lefties. Justin Morneau heads that list, even Denard Span at the top of the order. Morneau having an MVP caliber season right now as we head towards Memorial Day. Talking a tough lefty, we're talking to C.J. Wilson. And actually the ERA was 1.39 as of the 49 2/3 innings mark, but things have gotten a bit bloated since then. It's not been a good last 9 innings.
A couple of rough starts the last 2. Boy, he got out of the gate nicely.
Quarterman in a bit with Denard Span batting. Span will take a strike in the sprint pitcher profile for Christopher John Wilson.
Well, he's lethal versus lefties. Josh, how about this? 102. That's 5 for 49 lefties are against C.J. Wilson.
Wow.
5 for 49. My goodness.
With only 1 extra base hit, Bobby Abreu had a double.
That is all it's been, but Ron Gardenhire, he's showing some confidence in his lefties. He's got 4. The wake-up call. I'll tell you that as we go. We talked about his last couple of starts. C.J. Wilson got out of the gate nicely and had an ERA in the 1s. Well, he ran into trouble, and also rumor has it that he kind of got to believe in the headlines there early in the season and maybe thought this game might be a little easier than it is. And he's received a wake-up call in the last 2 starts.
But certainly, it's as you know, Gracie, it's a humbling game. And when the Rangers had C.J. Wilson leading the league in ERA, a lot of things are being forecast by everybody. There's a chop ball to first. Smoke will handle it. To Wilson's credit, he has blamed only himself here, saying, I didn't get it done the last 2 starts, and now it's time to get back to what I was doing in spring training.
And that you can appreciate.
The Rangers defensively, their lineup brought to you by Scott's. And all eyes will be on Justin Smoke for a lot of Ranger fans. That first baseman who's starting to make plays at first, and that's great, but they really want him to start swinging the bat.
Like a first baseman.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, that, as you know, because you were a 300 hitting, occasionally power mongering first baseman.
Me and Justin more know, right?
Oh, yeah. Justin all the time says, I wish I could do it like Gracie. But, no, I mean, it's traditionally, especially with the Rangers, a position of power. We're talking to Shera and Palmeiro. You want to go back to
Clark.
Sure, Pete O'Brien before that. And the Rangers, with Chris Davis now at AAA and Justin Smoke having come up in his place, those two guys have combined for a batting average of 160.
Yeah, big-time prospect. Smoke's rocketed through the Ranger minor leagues. But when you put a couple extra decks on the stadium, it's a little bit different game.
Ron Washington, who played for these Minnesota Twins, in fact played in the great outdoors in Bloomington. Orlando Hudson shoots one towards center. Had a 3-hit night last night. Was out number 2. Ron Washington and Ron Gardenhire, the two managers in this game. I think it's really interesting why 23 years ago, those guys were the two losers in the spring training competition to be the Twins' utility infielder. Al Newman won that gig and a World Series ring 7 months later. Ron Washington and Ron Gardenhire both trying to hang on with the Minnesota Twins in '87.
That's a special season. But I think they've gone on to do okay.
And it's amazing as Joe Mauer steps in and takes a strike. The Ron Gardenhire has not yet won a Manager of the Year award.
It's insane that hasn't happened because this organization is just so impressive all the way down. Tom Kelly got it started years ago. Ron Gardenhire has taken the reins. And it's a classy organization. They just win. They respect the game.
And they haven't been in a position to just throw a bunch of money at whatever problem they've got to develop.
If they lose a free agent, for instance, like a Torrey Hunter or like a Johan Santana, well, they just seem to find somebody in the ranks, in the minor leagues, that can come right up and fill those spots.
And you see, the one thing they haven't done is just clear that last hurdle. They're one of the top 5 winningest teams in baseball the last 8 years. But they don't have that World Series title yet.
Got to find a way to beat the Yankees, don't they?
Well, the Rangers have found that one out too. You get into the postseason, run into that Yankees buzzsaw, and it's over. Mauer takes. C.J. Wilson was off the mound. So was the catcher, Max Ramirez. They figured that was strike 3, but
it's nice to be a superstar here in town, isn't it? That's called a ball, folks.
Wow. Well,
I would imagine Joe Mauer better be swinging here.
remember, Wilson's only allowed 5 hits to lefties all year. But this is not your garden variety lefty. I mean, Joe Mauer is hitting close to 350 against left-hand pitching.
Yeah, he doesn't care. Righty, lefty. Put an octopus out there, Joe Mauer will get a hit.
Towards the left side, Michael Young will fire it across, and there is no octopus in the bottom of the first. Second inning after this on Fox. By Taco Bell, think outside the bun. By the all-new 2011 Super Duty, built for tough. And by Sprint, the Now Network. Rangers and Twins on Fox today, and in large measure, the Rangers are in this thing because of the guy who's about to come to the plate. I doubt she knows the name Vladimir Guerrero, but
She will.
Angel fans, no doubt, are aware that Vlad Guerrero is having this spectacular bounce-back season. A healthy Vlad is a productive Vlad. Although here he's going to stretch out for one and roll to second base.
It doesn't take long for whatever Vlad does. He is swinging.
The Rangers as a team tend to swing at more pitches outside the strike zone than any other major league team. I think a lot of that is because of who's hitting cleanup. I mean, that's Vlad's game, right?
He doesn't wait around. I mean, that pitch nowhere near the strike zone. And like you said, he just reached out, made an easy out. But the very next at bat, he could take you in the seats on the same pitch.
Well, speaking of which, Josh Hamilton now, and he has put on a couple of monstrous batting practice exhibitions here at this ballpark the last couple of days. I think that Twins logo in dead center is probably safe.
But not by much.
Not by much, though, crazily. Josh Hamilton has come within about 30 feet of that in batting practice.
I love that old school logo right here in the center of the ballpark.
46-foot high logo out there that lights up at night. That logo created to show how the cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul would bridge the gap and be friendly with each other, reach across the Mississippi River and smile and say, boy, are we happy to have baseball. Look at us, smiling. Hamilton, base hit in the left. A 10-game hitting streak for Josh Hamilton.
Let's take a look how that result came to be, Josh. And it's very simple. Carl Pavano fought and he fell behind Josh Hamilton. There's 2-0. Now we're going to go to 3-0. Now all of a sudden, Josh Hamilton, he's seen 4 straight fastballs. The 5th one he sees, bang. I mean, smokes it. He doesn't just flip it over there to the left side. He drives it over there to the left side. Beautiful hitting.
David Murphy takes a strike. Getting a chance to play with Nelson Cruz day to day with a tweaked hamstring.
You got to take advantage of your playing time in the American League.
Pavano juggles it and turns a double play. Murphy scalded it. And Pavano suddenly was a member of the Harlem Globetrotters out there. 2 double plays turned by the Twins in 2 innings.
Very slick.
what we do. State-of-the-art, brand-new ballpark here in downtown Minneapolis. They have, well, so far anyway, through 2 months of the season, the MVP of the American League. A lot of folks would say that's Justin Morneau batting right now.
Leader in the American League in a few categories. Batting average 372. Slugging percentage and on-base percentage. Well, Wilson just buried one in right underneath his hands.
And again, one of the things we're watching in this game, the fact that C.J. Wilson is so tough on lefties, but the Twins have a bunch of lefties who are tough on left-hand pitching. C.J. Wilson will grab it and take care of Justin Morneau. Our forward keys to the game with Mark Grayson.
Well, thank you so much,
You're
Josh.
so welcome.
For Texas, you got to be aggressive early. We talked about Carl Pavano doesn't throw many pitches out of the zone, so you got to be aggressive early. And the rest of the offense has got to climb aboard, and that is, don't let Vladimir Guerrero do it all. You got to help him out a little bit. Minnesota, the left-handed hitters, like we talked about, they're going to have to show up against C.J. Wilson, and once again, just continue the fundamental sound play. We've been crowing about them all day, Josh, about how good they are defensively.
C.J. Wilson, oh, and Smoke has got to go find it. He does just in time. Wilson, who doesn't use bad language, looked like he came pretty close right there. After he threw that one in the dirt, he was muttering something to himself.
Well, Michael Kadire gets one buried on his hands, and then Wilson right into the dirt. Smoke ended up grabbing it with the bare hand before Kadire got there.
C.J. Wilson, who is the biggest fan of the TV show Lost. I mean, to the point that he carries scripts with him on the road. Bailed out by, the Smoke Monster over there at first base. Here is Jason Kubel. C.J. Wilson is kind of the Rangers' resident Barry Zito. He's definitely a little bit left,
out there,
left of center, and he does aspire to the world of TV and movie script writing or directing.
Really?
In his next pursuits. Right now, the pitching thing's working pretty well.
I was going to say, do you have to remind him he throws 94 from the left side? That's pretty good.
Film school at UCLA can wait, is what CJ is now understanding. But that's his next thing. He'd love to get in with, for example, the network suits at Fox. Sure. If they're paying attention. One and two, the count to Kubel. And another ground ball induced by C.J. Wilson.
Well, you just keep pitching, son. You're doing just fine.
We'll return to Minneapolis after a word from your local Fox station. Stays scoreless into the third on Fox today. Josh Lewin along with Mark Grace. Thanks for joining us. It's so nice to be in the great outdoors. On the way up to 90 degrees in greater Minneapolis today.
Fabulous. Memorial Day weekend. This sellout crowd gets some outdoor baseball.
Justin Smoke taking inside. As you take in some of the sights and the sounds here at the beautiful new ballpark.
You have to wait a long time here for weather like this.
Justin Smoke turns on one, pounds it to right field. A guy that really needs to get going. Hustling into second base with a stand-up double. You know, last night, Mark, the Rangers' 7 through 9 part of the order was hitless. They didn't even get a ball out of the infield. And Justin Smoke jumps on this.
Yeah, he got a fastball inside to his liking. Kept the head right on it. That's a really nice swing right there, Josh. This kid has a very nice swing. I don't think you're going to see him struggle too much longer. That's too talented to be hitting 167 coming in.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, he has been called a switch-hitting version of Justin Morneau. It's a lot to live up to.
Agreed.
You hear Mark Teixeira comparisons, and
that's a lot to ask.
He's 23, and it's not going to happen right now. How old were you when you broke in?
22, and turned 23 in about a month. So yeah, it's a lot to digest. Especially if you struggle early, you just feel like you're never going to get another hit. But as long as the Texas Rangers keep winning, Josh, and stay around first place, and that one's fouled back, Ron Washington can be a little more patient with a guy like Justin Smoke because, well, you're doing something right. You're in first place, so you don't have to press the panic button and get somebody in there. All right, I need to replace him with somebody that I think could do better. As long as you're winning, you have time to be patient with rookies.
And it's a fine line because the Rangers really do feel like their time could be right now. They're in a very winnable division with only 3 teams you got to beat in the AL West. Ramirez takes on the outside corner. And I think there is a change in expectation this year that it's not enough just to kind of be in the hunt. The Rangers really actually want to win.
I think a lot of times you get satisfied with playing big games in September, and that's fine and good. But I think these guys now, they want to play big games in October. And expect it. You talk to Ron Washington all the time. He expects these guys to go out and stack victories.
Now, the Rangers' promotional campaign this year is built around 2 words. It's time. It's not like, hey, come have fun at the ballpark or stuff like that.
It's winning time, exactly.
The tapper back near Pavano. No play at third, and it works almost like a sacrifice.
That's a productive out. Nicely done there by Matt Ramirez.
Now, next week on Fox Saturday Baseball, these Texas Rangers will be featured taking on the best team in the majors right now. That's Tampa Bay. Some of you might see Milwaukee and St. Louis. Fox Saturday Baseball presented by Chevy returns next week at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific on Fox. Check local listings for the game and start time in your area. Now here's a great chance for another young, struggling hitter. Julio Bourbones at just 226. Has only walked twice all year, Gracie. 140 trips to the plate. He's got 2 walks.
That's difficult to do.
But you got a runner at third. Only 1 out. The infield doesn't look like they're coming in all the way.
It looks like Ron Gardenhire is going to concede the run here. Now that
they're coming in a bit right now.
The corners are coming in now. Third base and first base, any ground ball to them, they'll probably come to try to get the out at the plate.
I think you got to guard against the bunt possibility from Bourbon always. The Rangers, who have been starving for runs, they've scored only 3 of them in the last 3 days. You get your number 9 guy up there who can bunt well. That's the way to sneak a run in.
Possible squeeze. You squeeze when it's unexpected, and right now that would be this time.
This would also be a highly unlikely walk. Pavano, one of the best control guys in baseball. We mentioned Bourbon, 2 walks all year. Off the glove of Pavano. Hudson will make a bare hand attempt. Bourbon is safe, and the Rangers lead 1-0.
I'm sure Carl Pavano would love that one back, but that's going to go as a base hit and an RBI. A one-hopper just right back to the mound. Pavano gets his glove up. He just can't make the play. Smoke scores easily, and Hudson can't make the bare hand play.
I think Pavano would tell you that he's probably shocked he didn't get that ball.
But he would love that one back.
Now the Rangers have a speedy runner at first in Bourbon. Top of the order, Elvis Andrus at the plate. And Pavano is a guy that you can run on for sure. Last year, Gracie led the American League with 33 stolen bases attempted on him. And the Rangers do love to run.
And when you are struggling to score runs the way the Rangers have last couple of games, you got to start trying to create some pressure on the opponent.
Well, the whole pitch to contact thing is certainly in play. Pavano has not missed a bat yet. Here's the 10th Ranger batter. There's not been a swing and a miss yet. The Rangers have had 8 called strikes on him, but there's not been a swing and a miss.
That is officially pitching to contact. But because of that, you get double play balls, ground balls.
And because Minnesota's defense has been airtight, as we keep talking about, if you're Carl Pavano, it's kind of like, okay, I mean, if they hit it, somebody's going to go get it.
Yeah, let me throw something about 88 miles an hour, put a little sink on it on the outside, outer third. And
a butt from Elvis Andrus is a beaut. Brendan Harris will fire. It's too late, and the Rangers have 2 on. Andrus is now 2 for 2 in his bunting skills. He learned from Omar Vizquel last year, and you can see a little bit of that right here.
One of the best in the business. Brendan Harris makes a terrific play. Well, that is officially tie goes to the runner. Well, that was a great play. I didn't think it would be even near that close.
Now, here's an interesting one for Ron Washington. You've got a 6-time All-Star at the plate, a guy that hits 300 every year, and he's hot right now in Michael Young. I'm sure you want to let him swing the bat. But Ron Washington also loves the double steal, and he's got 2 guys on base now that are real fast.
His 2 best base stealers, you're right. Right now, I think with 1 run across, if I'm Ron Washington, I'm letting this guy swing the bat.
The Rangers attempted more double steals than any team in baseball last year. They've already tried 5 of them this year. They are going, the double steal. Mauer towards third, too late, and they pull it off. Michael Young takes a pretty good pitch. He's now in an 0-2 hole, but he's got 2 men in scoring position now.
Boy, a great jump from Bourbon. Nothing Mauer can do. He beats it easily. And just like I said, if I'm Ron Washington, I'm doing the double steal.
Well, it's one of those where, I mean, if you do it and it works, terrific.
You're a genius.
And now you do give Michael Young, a tremendous 2-strike hitter, a chance to knock in a couple of runs with a little base hit somewhere.
And you talked about it. He took a good pitch to hit, Josh, because he's okay with hitting with 2 strikes. I'll take a strike there, let these guys move up 90 feet, and give myself a chance to drive in a run with an out. You can hit a ground ball to the second baseman right here and drive in a run, or hit a fly ball to the outfield. And it's also nice that a base hit scores 2.
Very soon, Michael Young will become the all-time franchise leader in base hits. Bud Rodriguez at 1747, and Michael Young now just 2 dozen away.
Just quietly a fabulous career.
That's a great way to put it. There's not a lot of flash or panache. It just keeps on getting done.
Yeah, he's not a quote machine by any means. He just goes out there and plays. And plays very well.
One thing he hasn't had yet is the experience of getting to the postseason.
Right.
And that is just killing him. He is signed up to be the face of the franchise, kind of what Joe Mauer has become for the Twins. And I think Michael Young enjoys that prospect, but he doesn't want to be on a team that wins approximately 80 games every year.
Right.
Taking outside.
Well, Pavano tried to shave that outside corner and just missed.
The opposite field approach is something that Michael Young has cultivated. Even though that one went foul, I mean, it's not a bad thought. Even a ground ball to second base right now is going to cash in a run.
That's exactly right. And he has no fear hitting with 2 strikes, Josh. He's the same hitter with 2 strikes that he is with no strikes. And he's up there battling Pavano. A couple of veterans going at it here.
Young takes it all the way to 3-2. Ian Kinsler, 5 of 7 lifetime with 2 home runs against Pavano, is on deck. A 9th pitch of this at bat is due. There's that opposite field approach. Is it deep enough? Kubel lines it up, and he's firing. Mauer breaks and got the tag down. What a tag, what a throw. The Minnesota Twins turn another double play. That's 3 in 3 innings. They're trailing 1-0, the Texas Rangers. C.J. Wilson operates to Delman Young, with the Rangers bidding for a big inning. They had the double steal and everything, put themselves in position. So Michael Young with a fly ball to right, it turns into a double play. 3 of those turned by the Twins in 3 innings.
A great throw from Kubel and a nice play at the plate too by Joe Mauer, coming up with a short hop and making the tag. They just never beat themselves, do they?
Again, only 10 errors all year. 49 games now. Young cranks it to right field. Heading towards the pole. Slicing. Is it fair or foul? And this is one that first base umpire Paul Nort has to wait and finally say is foul. So close. Right up on that ledge and right near the pole.
No argument from any Twins. Let's take a look.
It's foul.
He got it right. He got it absolutely right. So close.
Boy, just kept slicing towards the geranium box. Ron Gardenhire just got a look at it, and he's going to come out and ask for a review.
Well, from what we've seen, it looked like Paul Nort got it right.
We already showed you the one that got overturned yesterday that went against the Rangers and for the Twins. There's a lot going on right near where that ball hit. You've got a foul pole, you've got a stripe, you've got a ledge, you've got a railing.
Well, the crew chief is Brian Gorman. He's the home plate umpire. Well, now they're all going to get together and decide if they all saw it the same way. Now, if an umpire sees it differently, and that looks like it's clearly foul.
Yeah, if it hit that concrete stripe, that's to the right of the foul pole. That sure is what it looked like it hit. But the umpires, and they didn't do this in a game with the Texas Rangers about a week and a half ago. There was a question, and they decided not to look at it. Much to their chagrin, they found out later they got it wrong. Cost Josh Hamilton a home run. It never hurts to look, I guess, is what the umpires are learning. You've got this tool that you can use now. You might as well put it to use, right?
I wholeheartedly agree with you, Josh. And there you have it. This is what goes on.
Well, that's a lot of small type. But that fourth bullet point is the one that I think sometimes gets confused. Managers can't just stomp their foot and say, you have to look at this.
I think what happens is the four umpires get together and they say, all right, did you see it the same way I saw it? And that's Paul Nort. And I would imagine one other umpire might have thought he saw something different, and they might have said, hey, I might have had that thing fair. So I think right now, because there is a shadow of a doubt, you have to go review it.
If you see the ball up against the yellow on the right there, that would seem to indicate that it is a foul ball. The umpires are back out. They're going to let Ron Gardenhire know that right now, I think. Yep, it stays 1-0.
And at the end of the day, you get the call right. What is it about this park the last couple of nights, Josh? Is it you?
Yeah, it's all me. Yeah. I create things. That's what I do. Well, Delman Young, who does have 4 home runs already this year, they are expecting him to keep on going from that. And that wasn't a bad approach against C.J. Wilson. Was trying to go with the pitch, take it to right, but it just had too much slice on it. And again, in part, it's still 1-0, Gracie, because of that great throw and tag play, Kubel to Mauer. We got a look at it live. We'll show it to you again, time permitting, slowing it down. I thought Joe Mauer did a fantastic job. Not an easy one to collect. Count goes to 3-2 on Delman Young. Here's the throw from Kubel.
I mean, a strong throw right on the button, but watch the short hop. Comes up with it, and then puts the tag on him.
It helps that Mauer is 6'5". He had to really stretch out to get him.
Well, that's just great stuff.
Young to Young here, no relation. And that is the out. We talked to Ron Washington just a moment or two or three ago about that inning in the ordering of the double steal. And obviously, we figured with Ron Washington, he likes them even more when they work.
Well, I do. You know, we had the right people out there with Bourbon and Elvis. And, you know, Pavano doesn't have a real short leg kick. It's pretty good, and we were able to just take advantage of it.
Hey, Wash, you spent some time in this organization, the Minnesota Twins, and tell us a little bit about what you think about this new place.
Well, I think it's beautiful, and it certainly plays to the type of game that they like to play, you know, pitching and defense, and it's obvious. Number one, on the pitching side, they don't walk anyone, so they keep the ball in play and they catch the ball, and they always got an opportunity to be in a ball game, and this ballpark give them that opportunity. It's quite a different atmosphere than it was inside the dome, but, you know, it certainly plays to their type of game. Balls don't fly out of here, at least they haven't yet. Maybe when it get hot, much hotter in the summer it may, but right now, you know, it's exactly what they want, pitching and defense ballpark.
I know you like that stuff too. Wash, thanks for your time. Congrats on the first place standing right now.
Well, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks to Ron Washington. J.J. Hardy with that base hit into right center. And the Twins do have their first hit of the afternoon, trailing 1-0. Brendan Harris comes up next. And Gracie, as you know, Ron Washington really did enjoy his time here in Minneapolis.
Right.
I mean, he was a guy that when Kirby Puckett first came up, Ron Washington was there. And in fact, in Kirby Puckett's Hall of Fame speech, one of the things he said was, to Ron Washington, my first roommate, my big league father, the guy that showed me the ropes. That's pretty nice when Kirby Puckett takes time out in Cooperstown.
To say your name. And anybody that spends much time around Ron Washington pretty much says the same thing, Josh.
Well, he gets after it. I mean, he makes sure that as a teammate, or obviously as a coach and now as a manager, that you respect the game, that you play it right. And he did not leave Minnesota quietly. He was quite unhappy when he got released just before that '87 season began. Of course, that turned out to be a World Series season.
Sure.
Ron Washington slammed a penny down on Tom Kelly's desk and told his manager and the GM then, Andy McPhail, he said, you know what, fellas, like that old penny right there, gentlemen, I will show up again one day. Thank you for your time.
That's a good way of doing it.
And here he is, 23 years later. He has shown up again.
He's the skipper of a first-place ship. Right now, he's got a left-hander throwing the ball awfully well.
Harris flicks one back towards the net. Yeah, C.J. Wilson last year was a reliever and was pretty noisy during the offseason. Said, I want to start. Said it enough that everybody finally said, okay, we'll give it a shot.
And I think they did the right thing. This guy's he brings too much to the ballpark to be a 7-inning or 8-inning guy.
And he stays up high with it to strike out Brendan Harris.
You got the stuff that C.J. Wilson has. The mid-90s fastball. Look at that one. Up and out over, right past Brendan Harris. But I think he is much more valuable as a starter than he is the 7th-inning guy or the 8th-inning guy.
And you have to say this. I mean, he absolutely put his money where his mouth was. He didn't demand to be a starter, but he strongly stated the desire.
Hey, I can do it.
And then he proved it in spring training. Strike to Denard Span.
And it also helps, too, Josh, that starters make a lot more money than 7th inning than 8th inning pitchers.
And they tend to get noticed a little more. And for C.J. Wilson, he said, I mean, it was just 100% related to desire. This is something I want to do. And you're right. I mean, to be able to pitch 7 innings and not 1, it's not only a personal thing, but he really feels with his stuff, he can be helping this ball club.
He's much more valuable to the Rangers every fifth day, doing his thing.
There's a head of Denard Span now 0-2. As we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, there's a lot of Twins who swing the bat left-handed who are not fazed by facing left-hand pitching.
That's a great graphic there. 3 Minnesota Twins. So you throw the book out. Whoever wrote that book, that lefties can't hit lefties.
This particular lefty, real tough. You threw the stat out right near the top of the broadcast. Only 5 hits allowed to left-hand batters all year.
Came into the game. Left-handers were hitting a robust 102 off of C.J. Wilson. No hits yet for a lefty.
Runner goes, and a chop ball foul. Nice play, Jerry White. Even the base coaches here feel like wizards.
So what's the fundamentals even these coaches have, Josh? Folks, stay in front, yeah. One hand, what a show-off Jerry White is.
Oh, Velcro over there. Wilson trying that comeback breaking ball. Didn't quite get that inside corner to Span.
Not many curveballs from C.J. Wilson. That certainly was. Boy, I guess if you're a left-handed hitter, just stay home.
The 102 is a fever. That's not a batting average. Now the Twins in today at 28-20. 2.5 game lead over the Tigers, who got 3 home runs from Miguel Cabrera yesterday and still lost.
Yeah, he's having a huge year.
Runner goes again. That is taken for a called third strike, and the throw down is a moot point. Ian Kinsler will lead off for the Rangers when we come back on Fox. Zantac. Beat that a heartburn heat. Zantac. And by Priority Mail Flat Rate Boxes. Only from the Postal Service. First place Minnesota Twins, 2.5 games up on the Tigers in the Central. And the first place Texas Ranger team out of the AL West. Kinsler leads off against Pavano.
Those foam fingers tell the story, don't they?
They are accurate in this ballpark. Kinsler induced to hit the ball on the ground in the first inning. These Rangers have lost a couple in a row, 4 out of 5, but over the last 5 weeks, only Tampa Bay has been better in the American League. On the ground, slowly towards short. Hardy, who used to play against Kinsler in high school back in Tucson, making the play. Vlad Guerrero comes up, and boy, Vlad Guerrero, go back to his days with the Expos. Was still swinging the bat like he meant it. On to the Angels, obviously, was an MVP in 2004. Now the Rangers, for pennies on the dollar, it seems, able to bring him in, and well, they are riding that number 27 right now.
I remember playing against him when he was a Montreal Expo. And people forget what a terrific right fielder he was. Had one of the better arms in all of baseball. I remember hitting the ball off the wall in Montreal. He grabbed it barehanded and threw me out by about 60 feet. I should have done the old Willie Stargell call timeout.
The fact that he can turn on that pitch is amazing. That was about 6 inches inside. And last year held to only 100 games. He's coming up on 50 games now, so you can, just kind of play around and double everything and say, all right, he'd be at 24/86 as opposed to 15/50, and there's still 50 games after that to go. Slowly hit to short. And Guerrero now 0 for 2. We talked about Vlad in Montreal. Carl Pavano pitched the last game at Old Olympic Stadium. Helped close that out as a member of the Marlins. And then he pitched the last game at the Metrodome. So
I did not know that.
As we celebrate being in the great outdoors, the guy that closed 2 domes is on the mound here.
And I believe he also opened this ballpark. Christened it, if you will.
This Minnesota pitching staff, as usual, a bunch of strike throwers. This could be 6 times in the last 7 years, Gracie, that they end up with the fewest walks in the American League.
Doesn't take a genius to figure out why they are so consistently good.
No,
why they're right there every year.
Everybody talks about the need for pitching and defense. I don't think there's an organization that better puts that into actual motion than Minnesota.
No. All organizations say it, but the Minnesota Twins, year in and year out, they do it.
Hamilton rolling one foul.
We're going to throw the ball very well. We're going to defend very well, and we're going to get just enough hitting to beat you.
Well, taking on a Rangers team that is kind of mid-pack when you look at what they're doing offensively, capable of a lot more. Another ground ball. Shows you that Carl Pavano is on his game. Boy, that's Kinsler, Guerrero, and Hamilton.
They look easy, didn't it?
Hudson, Mauer, Morneau now coming up. 1-0. This afternoon, C.J. Wilson in large measure responsible for clamping down on the Minnesotans right now. 2, 3, 4 in their order, though. Hudson, Mauer, Morneau. There's a one-hitter so far for C.J. Wilson, who's trying to, I guess, establish his credentials to be in the All-Star game.
He's certainly showing all-star form here this afternoon.
Got that ERA back under 3 for the season now.
He just refuses to pitch. That's not all-star form.
Max Ramirez, the catcher. The second time these guys are working together.
Hello?
Oh,
hello?
Well, this is not a new catcher that's just come into the game. And if they were working on changing up signs, they did have some time in between innings to do that. Like Maddox, I'm sure, wondering what this is all about.
I would imagine after all that, a fastball.
Nope.
Nope, even through the breaking ball.
The pitcher is responsible, right, for what he throws.
That's exactly right. Yeah, the catcher is back there suggesting. At the end of the day, it's your decision when you're the pitcher.
Hudson,
yep. Cut fastball, what a beauty.
A lot of these Ranger pitchers do throw that cut fastball or something like it. Wilson pounding that strike zone today.
That was just a straight fastball in. The cutter now, Josh, is that new sexy pitch. Everybody's throwing it now, and if they're not throwing it, they're learning how to. Used to be the split finger fastball, now it's the cutter.
Beaten on the ground to third. But when it's thrown well, you do get a lot of ground balls, a lot of weak contact. Now, we got to deal with the M&M boys, Mauer and Morneau.
So you got the two M&M boys, like you said, Josh. But at the other 60 feet 6 inches away is C.J. Wilson, who just makes his living off left-handed hitters.
Mauer is 1 of 12 lifetime against C.J. Wilson, just to show you how devastating Wilson is against lefties.
They try to come inside on Mauer. He's like an oak tree. He just doesn't even move.
Mauer, for a couple of years, shared a condo across the river over in St. Paul with Justin Morneau. That is one talented condo.
Man,
when they were first coming up.
I bet you it was a really nice condo.
Batting champ and MVP doing each other's dishes. That ball foul. Not by much.
Yeah, who do you think did the dishes? You cook, I clean?
Mauer seems to be more, I mean, if there's a Felix Unger, Oscar Madison dynamic going here, I think Mauer's more likely to do the dishes, but Joe is a do-it-all kind of guy. And he is that guy, too. I mean, the guy who is the best in the room at everything, whether it's baseball, golf, bowling, ice skating, dancing.
He'll beat you in darts, ping pong, whatever it is.
He is better than you and me at everything.
At everything.
Liftoff towards left. Still doesn't have a homer in this ballpark. C.J. Wilson contains it.
And let's see how he does contain it. It all starts with this first pitch up and in. Okay, that gets his attention. We'll try to go down and away. And then that's the pitch you got to take care of. That was the one in the middle of the plate, but Wilson beat him with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. And then finally beats him again. Just got it off the label enough to keep him in the ballpark. But a guy like Wilson, especially if you're approached left-handed, you're not going to get many good pitches to hit. But if you do, you can't miss it. And that's what happened with Mauer, missing that 2-0 fastball down the middle.
Towards center field off the bat of Morneau. And again, C.J. Wilson just neutralizing the tough lefties here today. It's a one-hitter. And the Rangers lead 1-0. struggling. They have combined to give that Ranger team a 1-0 lead. The two pitchers, Carl Pavano and C.J. Wilson, have been as advertised. Mark Grace, a low-scoring game here into the top of the 5th inning.
We are smack dab in the middle of a pitcher's duel, Josh.
Pavano, who's walked only 8 batters all year, taking on Murphy, Smoke, and Ramirez here in the Rangers' half of the 5th.
Just changing speeds, hitting corners,
breaking hearts.
Yeah, that's breaking bats, breaking hearts. This is just proof that you don't have to throw 95 to get major league hitters out.
Murphy takes it into right field just like Smoke did to start the 3rd. The ball played in quickly by Kubel, but Murphy sliding in there with a double. And again, it's all pitch to contact here. There have been 37 strikes delivered by Pavano. He's got 1 swing and a miss.
A fastball in. He just pulls his hands in nicely, rips it down the right field line. Now it's off to the races because Kubel has already shown that good throwing arm and made it close at second. Pretty swing there by Murphy.
The switch hitting first baseman Justin Smoke.
Well, now he's looking for something to pull. In a low-scoring game like this, look for something off speed, maybe something you can pull on the ground. Try to move Murphy over to third base.
Well, you were talking earlier about Murphy getting a chance to play because of the injury to Nelson Cruz, and all you can do is make the most of your opportunities. Murphy's hit the ball hard twice. Once into the double play in the 2nd inning, but now the leadoff double.
That's the thing when you're a reserve player in the American League. You just don't get to play much.
Off speed, and Smoke couldn't get it. Folks, nationwide, thousands of communities have gotten involved as Chevy and Scotts have set out to rebuild local ballparks. Don't miss your chance to get involved and to win a new Chevy at ChevyBaseball.com. Tagged into center field. Denard Span has to leap up to make that catch. Murphy holding at second. We talked to Ron Gardenhire an inning ago, and we'll play that back for you here, talking about his team getting some defense as usual. 3 double plays already in this game, pleasing to Mr. Gardenhire.
Well, yeah, I think both pitchers are throwing the ball pretty decent here. We got to figure out Wilson. He's got a quick arm, and boy, the ball comes out of it. And Pav, saved himself a couple of balls up the middle. So we just got to keep getting after it, and hopefully we'll figure out a way to get on Wilson.
When a guy like Wilson is dealing like he is, Gardy, you maybe change your approach if you get some base runners, start maybe putting some guys in motion.
Yeah, we were trying there. He's got a decent move, and we might have to guess a little bit over there. But yeah, try to do that. Maybe a little hit and run. We were trying to run Hardy there, see if we can get somebody out there and score in position. So yeah, we'll have to mix it up a little bit.
Ron, thanks so much for your time. Congrats on your first placeness right now.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
I appreciate it. All right.
Thanks.
I like that term, first placeness.
I just made it up. Try to put it on a T-shirt, get it, patented. Big lead for Murphy, and a swing and a foul back by Max Ramirez.
Joe Mauer going to go out and have a conversation with Pavano, say, hey, by the way, that runner on second base, Murphy, he's getting a big lead. You might need to pay a little closer attention to him. You don't want to give up a free 90 feet here in this situation.
Already a steal of third for the Rangers today as part of a double steal. And we mentioned it with Ron Washington. He loves it when those guys are aggressive on the bases. You just don't want to be stupid on the bases.
Yeah, there's a difference between being aggressive and being stupid. When you're safe, you're aggressive. When you're out, you're stupid.
Past the mound, and now Murphy heads to third. There's Hudson, takes care of Max Ramirez. Time for a DirecTV game break, with the Rangers trying to build on a 1-0 lead here. Torrey Hunter, former Twin, current Angel. That's 94 miles an hour from Felix Hernandez. And he's been taken for precautionary x-rays. That left hand hit. Seattle leads that game 1-0.
All those little tiny bones in your hand, those are always dangerous. Metacarpals.
Bourbon, who's got the lone RBI in this game. That's good words with friends word you just
Thank you.
Very, very strong.
It's that San Diego State education.
Bourbon with another run batted in. He's down in the count and he comes through. And boy, for these Texas Rangers now, I know it's only one game and obviously way too short of a sample size, but the guys who have been letting them down, Smoke and Bourbon, have been the guys getting it done today.
Hitting the ball hard, exactly. Gets a pitch that you can handle in the middle. Doesn't try to do too much with it, Josh. Just play pepper, pop it right back up the middle. And those are demoralizing for an opposing pitcher. You get a couple of outs, you're facing the number 9 hitter, and sure enough, he hurts you with 2 outs.
Leadoff doubles now for the Rangers. That's been the coin of the realm today. The innings where they've gotten the leadoff double, they have scored. And Bourbon, who has been pinch hit for Gracie 5 of the last 6 games, trying to prove to his manager that, yeah, you know what, when you need a big hit, I can do this.
I can do this in the 7th and 8th inning, too. But it's the whole from Missouri thing. He's going to have to show him.
Bourbon's got a chance to run now, too. Already has a steal today.
I think you and I are a lot alike in the fact we like the running game, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
I like to watch teams that utilize the running game. That's why I enjoy doing Rangers, Twins.
And we enjoy beautiful outdoor facilities, too. So
don't we, though? But both these teams like to get after it on the base paths. And it's not just stolen bases. It's, you know, taking the extra base on a base hit to center field, something like that. Bunting.
Getting a good secondary lead, so you can score on a little base hit to the outfield somewhere. Bourbon is going. Andrews hits it slowly towards short. Hardy's play will be to first. And that's it for the Rangers, but they've tacked on a run. They lead here in Minneapolis 2-0. Bud Light with a refreshing taste of lime. With Mark Grace, Josh Lewin. Even the parking garage looks good, glistening out there in the background.
They didn't skip on anything, did they?
They're right behind where they play the NBA games. The Minnesota Timberwolves at the Target Center. This is Target Field. And we are quite enjoying an afternoon of the great outdoors here. 88 degrees now. That ball banged just foul down near third by Kadire. As the Rangers continue to lead, 12 blocks away. City blocks, about a mile and a half away from the old Metrodome. And the little things here mean so much. You've got the Minnesota limestone on the exterior walls, such a nice touch.
And you know, this is a special ballpark. When you talk to the locals around here, and they talk about this beautiful ballpark and not Brett Favre.
This is a good point. Outside to Kadire, 2-2. Now, the old place still houses
the Vikings, sure.
A football team is supposed to do some things this year. Kadire lunging at one and pops it into shallow left center, where Bowen will make the call and the catch. And some sights and sounds in this beautiful new ballpark. It's got that new ballpark smell, if you will, like a new car smell, you know?
Good point.
Transit system in place. Fans have found their
first
way.
Pitch will follow it through.
46-foot high logo out there.
That can only be one man. Carew and then Harmon Killebrew statues.
Jason Kubel takes a strike. I also really like, Mark, if you take a look at some of the other facts about this place. The capacity, not even 40,000.
Which is perfect.
I agree. Creates a little supply and demand. But right behind us, when you walk out on the concourse, they've got a wall of baseball cards kind of blown up to a much bigger size. And it's not just the Twins stars. I mean, there's Bombo Rivera's on there, and a bunch of guys that you forgot.
From 64.
Steve Lombardozzi's on there. Waving a miss by Kubel. Down he goes. And it's just nice. Kind of takes you through the timeline. Early 60s all the way to today. And it's not quite the time lapse that we can show you here. The building of Target Field, the architects spent nearly 300,000 hours designing this place. And look how quick it goes up.
That's how easy it is. Wow.
And now here we are.
That was very cool. Speaking of cool, C.J. Wilson's been awfully cool today.
He's been very good. A couple more facts about the new ballpark. Things that we've mentioned here already. And you're right about C.J. Wilson. He is missing a lot of bats right now.
Absolutely dominating the Twins thus far.
Took something off of that. Delman Young finds himself behind 1-2. The only hit is from J.J. Hardy. Soft single into right center.
That's really about the only hard hit ball of the afternoon. Delman Young, his first time up, just missed a home run by mere inches. It got reviewed by the umpiring crew.
Yeah, that was the one moment that gave C.J. Wilson pause today.
That's exactly right.
With the Rangers bullpen getting a lot of work this year to keep the pitch count down today, a fairly important thing, and C.J. Wilson has done that.
Yeah, it's pretty manageable still.
Popped up, and Kinsler shades his eyes out there near second base. He will make that catch. C.J. Wilson very strong today. 2-0 Rangers. Burger King, who reminds you to have it your way. By Verizon, the network with the most 3G coverage. And by Chevy. Every model is backed by a 100,000-mile, 5-year powertrain limited warranty. The canopy that surrounds this ballpark, I think it's got a real close encounters at the third time look to it.
It is a little futuristic, isn't it?
And shields the upper deck patrons from any inclement weather. We don't really have inclement weather, though, today. What we do have coming up, though, are shadows.
And that makes it difficult on the hitter.
You can see where Michael Young is standing. And he lines to short right here. That shadow's about to encroach right onto home plate, so it's probably going to get a little tougher for the hitters going forward. It's already been very tough today because of Wilson and Pavano.
You can see those shadows starting to creep out. Once they get out to about that area, it's going to be very difficult to see the baseball for all these hitters.
Now Kinsler just kind of squibs one over to third. The game summary brought to you by Verizon, and obviously very pitching heavy when we talked about a 2-0 game in the 6th. C.J. Wilson, only 1 hit allowed, and we can update that with Pavano, now 5 2/3. Giving up the 2 runs, and they're a byproduct of Julio Borbon, bottom of the order. For more information on today's game, by the way, and the latest in baseball news, go to foxsports.com, powered by MSN.
Really, all the great work by C.J. Wilson has kind of left Carl Pavano, unfortunately, in the distance. He's throwing a heck of a game.
No, he's starting to miss some bats now here, too. Vlad Guerrero. And there's the encroaching shadow that we're talking about.
On a bright day like this, the shadows are going to be even darker, and it's going to make it even more difficult as we move on.
Mr. Guerrero does not get cheated with the swing, does he?
Never.
This season for the Rangers, hitting around 340. He's hit safely in 22 of his last 24 games, matter of fact. Big month. Right now down 0-2. And makes just enough contact to hang in there. Vlad has seen 9 pitches today and has swung 7 times.
That's a slow day for Vlad. Clint Hurdle is hitting coach.
You don't teach what Vlad is doing.
No. Because he has the ability to hit a pitch a foot inside or a foot outside or one up at the eyes. I've even seen him get base hits on balls that bounced.
When your strike zone is your nose to your toes, as has been said about Vlad Guerrero, some interesting things will happen.
But he's healthy this year, and what? He's just wreaked havoc on the American League. Another high fastball and a mighty rip there from Vladimir Guerrero.
And what a thrill for a lot of the guys on these Texas Rangers to play with Vlad Guerrero now. A guy like Julio Borbon, who grew up in the Dominican and says his high school notebooks and math class and writing class were all with pictures of Vladimir Guerrero on them. And now he gets to play with him. Chop to third. Brendan Harris makes it a quick, clean, easy inning. It stays 2-0 on Fox. 21-year-old C.J. Wilson is spending a one-hit shutout for the Texas Rangers right now. Of course, the Rangers are trying to get to the point where they can brag about their pitching as much as they've been bragging about their hitting for years and years. And C.J. Wilson so far this year, well, the ERA is about 2.8, 2.9. And as of right now, he is shutting down a first-place team, the Minnesota Twins.
He's facing the only man that has solved him this afternoon. J.J. Hardy got a clean base hit to center field, and that has been all for the Minnesota Twins this afternoon off C.J. Wilson.
And the Rangers had a decision to make about C.J. Wilson in spring training. Do you keep him in the 8th inning or do you move him into the rotation? Michael Young makes the play on Hardy. Still a one-hitter for C.J. Wilson. And folks, Major League Baseball proud to support Stand Up to Cancer. We invite you to visit standuptocancer.org to learn how you can help out in the fight against cancer.
Well, that was a terrific play by third baseman Michael Young. Only in his second year over there, the in-between hop. That was a bullet off the bat of J.J. Hardy. He just made a very difficult play look pretty easy.
Harris fights one back to the net.
Well, C.J. Wilson has really been bullying these right-handed hitters with that fastball inside, tying them up, jamming them. He's on a major roll.
C.J. Wilson, described in spring training by team president Nolan Ryan, as our version of the most interesting man in the world. Because he's a fascinating guy. And the Rangers really did have a big decision to make about him. You've got a fragile ecosystem with any bullpen, and when you take out your 8th inning guy, that ecosystem gets affected. But the Rangers also want a guy out there, a lefty in the rotation, who can do something like this, which made him the most interesting man in spring training.
He doesn't always drink beer.
In fact, he never drinks beer. C.J. Wilson has never touched a drop, he says. That ball into right field, sinking, and there is David Murphy to somehow pluck it off his shoelaces right there for out number 2.
Well, that just looked like a base hit all the way. A rope off the bat of Harris, and out of nowhere comes Murphy to pluck it about ankle high. Nicely done. And when a pitcher is on a roll like Wilson is, you get plays like that behind you because your defense is expecting the ball to be hit. They're on their toes. They're getting good jumps. Shadow's starting to really become a factor now, Josh.
Yeah, no doubt, and that can only make it more difficult for these Minnesota Twins, and as it is,
exactly right.
It's a one-hitter.
Twins fans trying to get something going.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, and you mentioned it when we came on the air. There's such a buzz in this ballpark. There's so much electricity.
It's a different crowd now.
But C.J. Wilson's kind of being the party pooper here.
He's the buzzkill, isn't he?
Yeah. These fans are dying to have something to cheer about. There's something. Base hit for Denard Span. Only the 6th hit allowed to a lefty all year by Wilson. Time now for a direct TV game break. Scary moments in the Indians-Yankees game with A-Rod at the plate and David Huff. Now, he had to leave the field on a stretcher, but he gave the thumbs-up sign on his way off the field. That is always so scary. The only way to watch every Major League Baseball game in HD is DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. That was a 13-11 win for Cleveland today. And if we get more information on David Huff, we'll pass it along.
Thoughts and prayers with him.
With a thumbs-up sign on the way off.
That's always good to see.
Tying man is up there for Minnesota.
And that's the thing, because Carl Pavano on the other end has pitched so well today, Josh. you're always a base runner away from bringing the tying run to the plate. So you got to give Pavano a lot of credit as well for keeping his ball club close.
Twins turned 3 double plays in the first 3 innings. That absolutely helped. So yeah, Pavano has needed what, only 80 pitches to get through 6 innings. Pavano has kept Young, Kinsler, and Guerrero, the 2, 3, 4 part of the order, hitless. Slug to left field. This ball's got a shot. Orlando Hudson hits it out. And yes, they do have something to cheer about now in Minneapolis.
Well, we had just said, with Paul Pavano pitching so well on the other side, you're always a base runner away from bringing the tying run to the plate. Orlando Hudson picks out a fastball, pulls his hands in nicely, drives it out of here to left field, and this place just erupted.
Wilson, who at one point, Gracie, had gone 88 innings without allowing a home run, has now allowed 4 in his last 16. Just like that, it's 2-2. And now he's got to deal with Mauer and Morneau. Hudson, who was joking before the game with his manager about taking some time off, which he obviously really doesn't want. Ron Gardenhire's got to be thrilled that he stepped in there and launched.
It doesn't get any easier now. You got one of the best hitters in the game with a 2-0 count on you. Boy, after 2 quick outs, just what seemed to be a meaningless single right in front of a big home run.
Mauer with a bouncing ball to Smoke. Smoke to Wilson to end the inning, but the O-Dog it comes through. Orlando Hudson ties it at 2. We'll come back to Minneapolis after a word from your local Fox station. One hit through 5 2/3. And then as the shadows started creeping across home plate, they started to find a way to get to C.J. Wilson, and now is looking at a 2-2 tie.
A stunned C.J. Wilson and I'm sure elated Orlando Hudson.
His first home run in 23 games. Josh Hamilton will try to get the Rangers to hit the restart button here. Top of the 7th.
Huge inning here for Carl Pavano. Your team just struck lightning with a 2-out, 2-run home by Orlando Hudson. Now it's your job to go out there and keep that momentum in your dugout.
Hamilton sends one towards center. And look out, that sun became an issue for Denard Span. He reclined and he made the catch.
Don't tell him that's a routine fly ball. Oh man, that is a bad feeling too as a player. Boy, what a great job. Sometimes you accidentally catch one. And that is a really good job of sticking with it by Span.
Strike to David Murphy. A line drive back to Pavano. And a double for Murphy today. Carl Pavano flipped cross division last year from Cleveland to Minnesota. Ended up being a bit of a workhorse for the Twins in their playoff run. Tapper to first. And Pavano covers. Time right now for the Just for Men Keep Your Edge spotlight. C.J. Wilson for the Rangers, who had the one hitter going into the 6th. Fielding his position very well. C.J. Wilson gives the Rangers the edge. You too can keep your edge with Just for Men mustache and beard. And he is a definite proponent of that whole
face east and all that.
Yeah, no, he's right there into the whole zen of baseball. He's studied Eastern philosophy quite a bit, and when the going gets tough, you don't hit back. You chill out.
You step back.
Yep. Doesn't work for everybody.
But say that would have saved me a lot of bloody noses.
Yeah, but that's just not how you're wired, though. You know. That is absolutely the essence of C.J. Wilson, though. Becoming the wind that tames the violent sea, or some such.
I like that.
Thank you.
Have you ever chilled out with him?
No. I think I got that from an old kung fu movie.
David Carradine. Going grasshopper on us there, isn't he?
Justin Smoak turns on this one. It's right down the line, and it is foul. Already a big day for Smoak, and it almost got bigger.
Smoak's had some good swings at Pavano. A double and a line out to center.
Hey, by the way, today's MLB on Fox Tune In to Win bonus question, Gracie. How many base hits will both teams combine for in the 8th? Go to foxsports.com/tunein. Make your prediction before the final out of the 7th inning. And if you're not in the game, you can sign up for next week's MLB on Fox game at foxsports.com.
How about a walk by Pavano?
That is unusual, but Justin Smoak is known for his keen eye. And sure enough, he has coaxed a walk here with 2 out.
Goes a change up on 3-2, and it just squirts low. That's really good patience there by the youngster.
That is the first walk or strikeout for Carl Pavano today. and he's passed 90 pitches. So we throw the phrase pitch to contact out there. That's exactly what it's all about.
Well, at 90 pitches, I would imagine there's still plenty of gas in the tank. It is a hot day here in Minneapolis. So I would imagine starting to get a little weary out there.
1 strike to count to Max Ramirez.
Well, he just reared back and threw it right by him. Almost threw it right by Joe Mauer.
You got to be thinking about the changeup, I think, always with Pavano. He throws so many of them, but yeah, I mean, he can still buzz it in there, 92, 93 with the heat.
Well, that was the answer. Is there still plenty left in the tank? Sure. 92 mile an hour right by him. I mean, that's just, here it is. What can you do with it?
The surprising hitting star of the day is on deck. That's Julio Bourbon. Jesse Crain getting ready for Minnesota. Bourbon has driven in both Ranger runs today. Came in with only 11 batted in all year. Check swing. Wentz, says Paul Nowert. And that's the inning. Rangers and the Twins are at the 7th inning stretch, tied 2-2 on Fox. By Just for Men Mustache and Beard, keep your edge. By Lowe's, experience Lowe's. Let's build something together. And by One A Day Men's, the official multivitamin of Major League Baseball, specially formulated for men. Mid-80s right now, sunshine, and, of course, shadows as far as the hitters are concerned. The leading hitter in the American League is up in a 2-2 game, Justin Morneau. C.J. Wilson, you saw the shot of him last half inning. He's trying to get that whole Serenity Now vibe going for himself. We'll see if he can pour that out towards Morneau, Kadire, and Kubel in a 2-2 game in the 7th.
He's going to need all the hot rocks possible going against these guys.
Only one walk in the game, both pitchers combined.
Now, they've both been so terrific. Tried to run that fastball right inside on Morneau. He was able to lay off of it. 2-2.
We've talked about Wilson and how he's gone after lefties all year. Only 6 hits allowed and only 1 walk issued to a lefty. So we're talking 7 base runners.
Truly amazing.
It's almost the end of May.
3-2 now. Morneau trying to be the proper leadoff hitter, find a way by hook or by crook to get on base here late in the tie ball game.
He's got the most walks in the American League. He's got 40 of them. He's got 41.
Well, this is what you do. This is just situational hitting, Josh. He's a leadoff hitter, so he's finding a way to get on base. All right, I'll lay off that one. Ball 1. That's just a pitcher's pitch right there on the outside corner. Then lays off one on the inside part. Lays off the slider there. Now that leads to this, the 3-2. Oh, boy, that could have been called strike 3, but it wasn't. And Justin Morneau, even though he's more of a slugger, he did exactly what he was supposed to do in that situation, be a good leadoff man.
Michael Kadire is hit into 12 double plays.
Goodness.
And needs to stay out of that right here. That's tied for the most in the American League.
Yeah, unfortunately, Josh, I led the league in that one year.
Not you.
Oh, yeah. 22 of them.
That just means a lot of guys are getting on base and you're making contact, that's all.
And also the fact that I'm slow.
Well, there is that, yeah. They've announced the crowd today, Gracie. 39,659, another sellout. Seeing a good ball game.
They've seen a terrific ball game. I like a good old-fashioned pitcher's duel.
Didn't have many of those at Wrigley in your day. To right field, towards the overhang, and a very tough play. It thumps up against the wall. Murphy can't get to it. Second and third now. Nobody out for the Minnesota Twins. One of the quirks here at the new ballpark. You're the right fielder, you see that ball, and a variety of things can happen. It can get into that overhang with all the flowers sitting in it.
Well, Kugel drives this one, no double play here. Just a double off just above the glove of Murphy, and boy, it hit very hard off the wall, bounced nearly back to the middle part of right field. Morneau had to wait and see if Murphy was going to make the catch, so he was held up.
You see Murphy kind of feeling for the wall here, but
it just missed the overhang there, too. They've got that little quirky overhang here at Target Field.
Kind of old Tiger Stadium style. You can steal yourself a home run.
It just missed that limestone area right there with those pretty flowers.
Now, if you get it in the geraniums, we're told they're geraniums, by the way, then that is a home run.
That's a home run. You see about 5 feet or so. It hangs out over. Full of beautiful geraniums.
Rangers have to play the infield in, second and third for Jason Kubel. And now, if ever there was a time to summon that Zen hang loose.
That's exactly right.
This is it for C.J. Wilson. Got to figure out a way out of this.
He's got to work on his biorhythms now.
So here's where you need the strikeout. And he has struck out Jason Kubel already once today. It's the first time all day, Gracie, that Wilson has pitched with a runner in scoring position, and now there are 2 as Chris Ray gets ready.
He just hasn't had to pitch out of the stretch much at all today until now. Looks like Ramirez got crossed up there. So he's going to go out and have a conversation. And anytime you've got a runner in scoring position, he's got to go through a sequence of maybe 4 or more signs. It's not just putting down 1 a fastball, 2 a breaking ball. He's got to put down a sequence of 4 or 5 signs, and sometimes that can get confusing for a pitcher and you get crossed up.
breaking ball is a beauty.
Oh, just a gorgeous breaking ball. That one buckled the knees of Kubel. Watch that front leg. Yeah. Beautiful pitch.
With the infield in and a 1-2 count. Tried that boomerang come back, get the inside corner thing. It didn't quite get there.
Yeah, he tried to drop down and take all the fun out of it for Kubel, but he missed inside. But that's the strikeout pitch you can get with that sidearm breaking ball.
Kubel's been a hot hitter.
That time he tried to go over the top with a fastball, and he missed. Another 3-2 count, Josh.
You got the powerful righty Delman Young on deck, and here again with C.J. Wilson. This is where if he, I know it sounds like breathing through your eyelids mumbo jumbo to a lot of people, but a lot of times this is where C.J. Wilson's at his best. You're totally up against it. Relax. Do your thing.
Be the ball, baby.
The 3-2. He walked him.
That's not necessarily the worst thing in the world, though, for the Texas Rangers, though. It does set up a force at any base now. Ron Washington's going to have to come out and get his left-hander, who was awfully impressive to this point.
They'll need the bullpen to bail him out. The bases are loaded, nobody out. We're back after this. Very cool.
One of my favorite people.
Yeah,
people forget what a terrific player he was.
Chris Ray is into the ball game, bases loaded, infield in with nobody out, and there goes Delman Young on the first pitch. He's going to drop it out of the warning track. 2 runs are in, and the Minnesota Twins now lead 4-2. Delman Young is a deadly first ball hitter. And the very first pitch he sees, he just hammers it in the left.
Now those are going to be charged to C.J. Wilson. And he came out and he just ambushed the very first pitch he saw. Belt-high slider. Drills it. And once Josh Hamilton falls down, 2 runs are going to come across. And there's still nobody out here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Infield stays in for the Rangers as J.J. Hardy takes outside.
It was supposed to be difficult to hit in these shadows, Josh.
That's what we were saying, but we're apparently quite wrong. Ever since the shadows have engulfed the infield here, 6 of 8 Twins have reached.
That's trouble.
That is big trouble. That is dropping. Hamilton got a slow jump. 2 more runs are in. Andrus never could get there, and Hamilton seemed frozen by it. Chris Ray has come in. He has allowed hits to Young and Hardy, and just like that, 6-2 Minnesota.
Fabulous base running there by Delman Young at second base. Able to come around and score. Right off the end of the bat it goes, and you just know it's trouble. Young gets a great jump. He sees nobody's going to get it, and just that little short hit scores 2 runs. Great base running there. Once again, fundamentals coming into play for the Twins.
Now the former college teammates, Ray and Harris, will square off here. And what a stunner for C.J. Wilson. Can you imagine, Grayson, we'd be talking about 5 earnings in 6 innings for C.J. Wilson today.
That's a crime that he's going to get that kind of a line score, because we know he was a lot better than that today.
It all started with that 3-2 pitch that missed to Justin Morneau at the beginning of the inning.
It could have easily been called strike 3.
Wilson had walked only 1 lefty all year coming into this inning, and then he walked both of the lefties he faced in this 7th inning. There's a slider from Ray, the former William and Mary teammates here, Harris and Ray, reintroducing themselves to each other. And suddenly Carl Pavano in position to get a victory out of this. Well, if it had been just that easy for Ray with Young and Hardy.
That one didn't take long. It took, I guess, Carl Pavano. This is a lesson like the old story, the tortoise and the hare. Just kind of methodically plod along like Carl Pavano. Yeah, this other kid's doing great, and he's throwing a 1-hitter through 6 innings, but I'm just going to keep hanging in there, plod along. Now all of a sudden, he's reaping the benefits.
Two in the 6th and 4 in the 7th for the Minnesota Twins. And again, C.J. Wilson was working on a 1-hit shutout into the 6th inning. Towards left field, and there is Hamilton. This one he'll get without a problem, out number 2. The Twins have kept the bullpen going. It could be that Pavano is done after his 7 innings of work. Could well see Jesse Crane.
Hard throwing right-hander.
Matt Guerrero not up now, but he's usually the 8th inning guy for Minnesota.
Tell you what, I don't think Ron Gardenhire has a whole lot to worry about with Carl Pavano. He's just moving right along, but his pitch count is getting up there a little bit. It is still a very warm day.
95 pitches so far. Orlando Hudson had the home run last inning. That got the Twins from 0 to 2.
That's the hit of the ball game. I mean, this team had 0 life. C.J. Wilson had basically sucked the life right out of the Twins. And then with 2 outs, Denard Span, a base hit, and one big mighty swing of the bat later from Orlando Hudson completely turned this afternoon around.
Runner goes. That ball rammed towards the alley in right center. Hudson's having himself quite a series. He had 3 hits yesterday. He's got 2 today. It is now 7-2 Minnesota. I think one of the great mysteries of the last couple of years is why Orlando Hudson remains unsigned into March.
He was with the Dodgers last year and pretty much lost his job at second base to Ronnie Belliard. Just didn't, Joe Torre and him, I guess, just didn't see eye to eye as far as being the everyday second baseman. Boy, what a find he's been for the Twins this year. And he's one of the better human beings you'll ever meet in your life.
Dustin Nippert now gets up in the Ranger bullpen after Mike Maddox went out to talk to Ray. Yeah, Hudson definitely brings some life to the clubhouse.
Oh, sure.
And obviously the glove that he brings out there onto the field is second to none. And not for nothing this year, he's hitting .310. And I can't imagine a nicer spot in the batting order, right in between Span and Mauer. Joe Mauer, the first ever catcher to win an AL batting title. That was in '06, and he did it again in '08 and '09. So just to get that straight, no one had ever done it. Now Mauer's done it 3 of the last 4 years.
Modern day Rod Carew.
An outstanding high school football player as well. Best prepped quarterback in the nation, according to some scouts from right here in this Minneapolis-St. Paul area. Senior year, Gracie, 41 touchdowns, 3 picks. Signed with the Twins instead of signing with Florida State.
I think he made the right decision.
Seminole fans would disagree.
I think Bobby Bowden would have done some good things with this kid.
Speaking of Mauer as a kid, how about at 4 years old? Check this out. All you got to do is run to the cone.
That's
and
4?
Yeah, 4 years old. And look at the finish. And then on to high school, it just kept on going for him. Buckles back, takes inside. Morneau's coming up with 2 on base. Yeah, he was legendary in high school. He had a senior season that was just incredible.
Come on, Justin, get over
Spin forward, he's MVP worthy.
Just a role model, a great player, a great person.
4 years of high school baseball. That ball drilled foul by Morneau. They say he struck out 1 time in 4 years. And a guy named Paul Feiner of Elk River High School is the guy that got him. And he clipped the newspaper story for his scrapbook. And I bet you that is going to be the #1 thing that Mr. Feiner will continue to tell everybody for the next 30 years.
That is awesome. That's an awesome story.
I'm the guy that struck out Mauer. Kinsler playing way out in right field, still can't get it. And the Rangers still can't stop the bleeding here. They carried a 2-0 lead into the bottom of the 6th. And now here in the bottom of the 7th, it is 8-2 Minnesota.
We were talking about Ian Kinsler, Josh, playing way out in right field. You can see where he is. He's way up there. So there's nobody in the middle of the diamond. And that one gets through, and now the Minnesota Twins pouring it on.
This is the inning they've been waiting for. Big 6-run inning. It's 8-2 Twins. We'll come back, tell you about the new Ranger pitcher in just a moment. The 11th man to bat is Michael Kadire, and Dustin Nippert is out there to face him with a 5.11 ERA. Runners at the corners here and 2 out. And Kadire swinging right away. There have been some big hits from the bottom of the order for Minnesota. Delman Young had the first one. J.J. Hardy went next. Both of those guys getting it done against Chris Ray, who had been, you pointed out during the break, Mark, Chris Ray had been keeping righties to 5 for 42 against him this year.
And that's 119.
And then those two righties, Hardy and Young, 2 for 2 to break the game open.
So there was a big reason Ron Washington brought Chris Ray into this ball game, and it was because he gets right-handers out. But boy, he had a rough one here this afternoon.
Well, Kadire had one of the big hits in this inning, the one that went back near that overhang in right. Ended up as a double. Towards third, and Michael Young making that play to finally get the Rangers off the field, with the Twins doing some major damage. They're up 8-2. third base all year. They've used 5 different third basemen. Everybody's been perfect.
They're all defensive replacements.
Got a replacement on the mound here, too, Mr. Grace. Here is Jesse Crane getting into his 21st game. And suddenly, this thing is 8-2 Minnesota.
Seems impossible. The way C.J. Wilson was throwing the baseball, well, he was removed, and Chris Ray came in and took a beating. And now he's looking at a blowout ball game.
Julio Bourbon has had a nice day at the plate. He'll take a strike. He's got both Rangers runs batted in. The Twins with their second biggest inning all year, a 6-run 7th inning. Some big hits in that inning. Obviously, they were doubles. Gelman Young on the first pitch that he saw from Chris Ray, that got a couple in. And set it all up, Michael Kadire with the one that sent David Murphy back to that right field wall. First thing that Kadire had ever done in value against C.J. Wilson. He had been 0 for 10, 6 strikeouts. And that hit really was liftoff for the Twins in that 7th inning. Bourbon taking, and it's a little bit snug, 2-2.
Hard thrower.
Bourbon spins it towards short. Hardy's going to make the first error by a shortstop for Minnesota all year. It just squirted out of his hand like a wet bar of soap right there. And you know what? I'm not convinced the way Bourbon moves that's definitely an out, even if he's able to come up with it.
I think it's got to go as an error, Josh. That's a play that 99 out of 100 for J.J. Hardy. Catches it and just can't make the exchange. And you're very correct on Bourbon's speed.
It's like somebody had a string on that ball and just yanked it from him. That is the first error by a Twins shortstop all season.
We just saw history.
And they still are perfect at third base. Well, it's a game for Julio Bourbon that he really needed. On base 3 times. We'll see if the Rangers have it in them to put up a big inning themselves, just like the Twins did. Inside to Andrews. Well, Twins might have found some confidence finding a way to beat the Yankees the other night. The Yankees have really been the electric fence for them. Hard-fought 2-1 win for Minnesota yesterday. They bounced back today, down 2-0 in the 6th, now up 8-2 in the 8th. Close but no, 3-1. After Carl Pavano gave the Twins 7 high-quality innings today, walking only 1.
Right down the middle with 95 miles an hour.
Andrews is only 21. He's so mature up there. Knows the Rangers need base runners.
Exactly right.
Doesn't mind taking 3-1.
That's the right thing to do right there. It's the team thing to do.
Slowly hit towards short. Hardy's got it. 6-4, 3, no! Fielder's choice and not a double play. And Gracie, we're going to take you back. Orlando Hudson is wired up Fox sounds of the game, he was talking about that big play involving that right field wall. David Murphy chasing off the bat of Mike Kadire.
He had it. That wall right there gonna get somebody hurt, dog. Check it out. Oh, they ain't gonna show up from that angle, though. Sometimes you run up the wall. See? Oh, yeah, he did. He hit the wall first. Yeah. Huh? That's how he missed it. He had it. If that wall was another foot back, he went to the wall first and bumped it.
Still talking about the quirkiness, aren't they?
The height of that wall is exactly what it was at the Metrodome, but you didn't have that overhang. 23 feet up there. And it's kind of a terraced arrangement there, as Young is going to blast into the right field corner. Andrews coming around towards third, and he is going to be held. It's a double for Michael Young. Ball getting away now, and the Rangers looking to score. They will. It is now 8-3, and that, I believe, Mark, is going to be the first 2-error game all year now for the Minnesota Twins. And it's actually 2 errors in 1 inning. So you got to have a way for the runner to get from third to home. You got to fix an error to that.
It all starts with Michael Young rifling one down in the right field corner. They set up for the relay to home plate. Kubel comes up. Orlando Hudson can't come up with it. And once the ball got away, heads up base running there by Elvis Andrus. Okay, it gets away. I'll just score.
So Andrews being safe on that ground ball that he hit with the fielder's choice and not a double play. That ends up getting the Rangers a run. And that will indeed be an error on the throw in. No RBI for Michael Young. Strike from Crane to Kinsler.
When you get those 2 starters out of the ball game, these teams start hitting.
And it's like that shadow kind of ushered in all the hitting, too.
All the offense.
There was nothing going on until the shadow crept in. Kinsler fouls it off Mauer.
Rattle your cage there. Want to be a catcher? Bang.
With the contract he just signed, I'm saying the answer is still yes, though. Hazard pay is what he's getting, a lot of it. Wave and a miss by Kinsler. Down he goes. 96 miles an hour from Crane. Fox Sports proud to team with the Breast Cancer Research Foundation during this 2010 MLB on Fox season. The Breast Cancer Research Foundation helps fund the most advanced and promising breast cancer research. Join the fight by texting CURE to 27722. That way you donate $10. Or you can visit bcrfcure.org. Vlad Guerrero, the batter, with 2 down and a run in. And a very rare thing indeed, an unearned run against the ledger of the Minnesota Twins.
Oh, you're not kidding, Josh. 2 errors in 1 inning.
Again, they hadn't had a game with 2 errors.
Is that Haley's Comet I see? That just doesn't happen.
Guerrero with a foul back to the net. Take you back to the last at bat. Back in the 6th inning for Vlad Guerrero. And watch how the shadow moves just during that AB.
Isn't that amazing? Great stuff.
On 0-2 to Guerrero. He's going to reach out and poke one way up there. The blinding sun. Orlando Hudson is not phased 8-3 Minnesota. Bottom of the 8th coming up. Sears Blue Lawn and Garden Crew. And by Lexus. Unprecedented access means unprecedented values now through June 1st. Jason Krubel gets it going for the Twins, bottom 8. They had a 2-run 6th and a 6-run 7th. And in good shape to take the first 2 of a 3-game series here against the Rangers. Suddenly, the Rangers' hold on first place is shaky. Mr. Grace, the A's play tonight in Detroit. They will take the field tied up with the Rangers for first if the Rangers can't rally.
I have a feeling the Rangers are going to be looking down on the West for most of the season. I think they've got a very good pitching staff. And it's just a matter of time before some of these offensive players climb on board with Vladimir Guerrero. And it's a broken record with the Twins. They're just at the top or right there every year.
Took a while for the Twins to get it moving today, but it is moving right now. Dustin Nippert does not get the call he wants right there, and that's a walk for Kuba. Today's Lexus Hybrids game-changing players. Got to take you to Orlando Hudson, who was 0 for 2, but then in the 6th inning, he homered. Had a big RBI double after that in the 7th.
Hurts him from the right side, hurts him from the left side.
Delman Young, the first one he sees, he takes deep into left center. Bobone is there. And with Orlando Hudson, Gracie, we mentioned this earlier. He was joking before the game with Ron Gardenhire about just taking the day off. We'll let you listen in. Fox sounds of the game.
And I was saying to myself, what if Garden called me and said, oh, you know what? You playing every day. Oh, no, you ain't got to come to the yard today. I would just say, it went through my mind. And I slowed down and, like, I would have my phone go ring, but, like, Garden, like, oh, you know what?
Go ahead and get on that boat.
Yeah, just go out there and catch you. Just go catch you a few bass and crapping, man.
Hey, I'll take care of the rest.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful day to fish, but this worked out better.
Grab some bass and some crappie. That's just good, playful. Between a manager and a player. And you can see that the players just love playing for Ron Gardenhire. Yeah, maybe he earned a day off to go fishing. What do you think?
Except he probably doesn't want it, though.
He said, "I'll take care of the press." That's what Gardy was saying.
Well, having decided not to fish today, here's what Orlando Hudson got done. We watched Ron Gardenhire before the game, Gracie, as he walked around and took it upon himself as Hardy checks and takes outside. They had a promotion here today. They rewarded kids that had perfect attendance, let them come out on the field.
Right.
And, normally that's the kind of thing that maybe a community relations director will go to like the 25th player on the team and say, "Hey, look, do me a solid. Just come out and spend like 2 minutes with these kids.
Come out and say some hellos.
We'll send the mascot out there, Ron Gardenhire, as Hardy strikes out, he went out there and he was shaking hands with every one of those kids and seemed engaged with every one of those
kids. And there was at least 40 kids out there with parents. And Ron Gardenhire, the manager now, and this is maybe 10 minutes before the ballgame started. He had time to go out there, not only shake hands with these kids, but to talk to them and just really have an open conversation with the parents. Shake hands, pose for pictures. That's impressive to me.
First at bat for Nick Punto. Remember, he came on defensively. Twins on top 8-3. I think a lot of managers these days, when you think about it, I don't know if you're in on the whole cliche of being a people person.
Right.
But Gardenhire is definitely a people person.
Well, I think they got it right when they chose the term manager in baseball. Because you're not only managing the game, the X's and the O's of the game, pitching changes, pinch hitting situations, putting the line, but you're managing people. You're managing 25 grown men and trying to keep them all happy, and it's almost impossible to do. But then you're also managing the media. Yeah, like we heard him say with Orlando Hudson, "I'll take care of the press." But you're managing your coaches. And like that, you're managing your community as well. He's a leader in this community. And he takes it seriously, and it's great to see.
Punto, a foul tip, grabbed by Max Ramirez. Ron Gardenhire, who actually went to college in Texas, was in Austin at the University of Texas, having gone to high school up in Oklahoma. He's made quite a home for himself here in Minnesota.
It's almost against the law, isn't it, for an Oklahoma guy to go to Texas?
Well, if Texas really wants you, no. But
good point.
And Gardenhire, here in this community, off-season fisherman and golfer and bowler. Bowls in the league with Kent Herbeck. At least he did a couple of years ago. The 2-2 from Nippert is fouled again. And folks, for exclusive info, analysis, and breaking news, you can follow MLB on Fox on Twitter and Facebook and MySpace. These Rangers, by the way, many of you will see them on Fox next weekend, entertaining the Tampa Bay Rays, who continue to be quite a story out of that AL East.
How about that young pitching staff, that starting rotation for the Rays? Been fabulous this year.
Back towards Nippert. And no problems there. The Rangers now with 3 outs left to their afternoon, trailing 8-3. hit deep into the 6th inning today, but now it's all Minnesota. Brian Dunsing comes out trying to just finish it off for the Twins and give them a 3-game lead in the AL Central. Josh Hamilton to bat. Josh is, for whatever reason, Gracie, had a tough time hitting during the daytime. He's got stats that really are befitting of a vampire when it really comes down to it. He's only got 3 runs batted in 19 day games, and that's not just a one-year statistical quirk. That's just kind of been something that Josh Hamilton has had to fight through.
That is very strange because, especially during spring training, Josh, just about every one of your games in spring training is a day game.
That's right.
And so you would think more hitters would be used to that because all your training and all your preparation is done in the daytime, and then all of a sudden the season starts, and after a couple of night games, I guess you just don't get used to it or whatever.
Roller towards short. It's been a big day for Orlando Hudson. Homer and a double. And the last time he did swing the bat, let's listen to what he had to say. Fox sounds of the game.
I'm going 3, dog.
Now, my question is, who is he informing that he's going for the triple? He said, I'm going 3, dog.
It had to be Jerry White, the first base
You think?
coach. I think he might have just been telling us.
Just kind of point of information, just to let you know, I'm going for 3.
I'm going 3, dog. No, he didn't.
Well, that's why he gave it the kind of the full-on Homer Simpson at second base there. The big disappointment for only getting 2. Murphy with a grounder up near first and foul. Hey, by the way, congratulations to today's winners, our tune-in to win game. We'll show them to you right here. Brett Bartolome, James Neal, Debbie Solomon for winning today's MLB on Fox Tune In to Win. You can go to foxsports.com/tune-in to see your results, and if you missed this week's game, make sure you're in on it next week. Murphy zaps one into the alley in right center field. That's going to drop and roll.
He's going 3, dog.
Well, you know what? Normally, I think he would have, dog, but down 8-3, he's just going to pull up and take his double.
Hudson always talking to somebody. Yeah. See? I was going to go 3, dog. Why did you go 3?
And for me, here's what I would have done in that situation if I were you. He's great.
He is one of the most wonderful human beings playing this game. The game is better because of guys like him.
You were social at first base, were you not? I mean, guys would come by and visit your little area over there. You'd chat them up.
It's easy to chat them up at first because you're always, when you're holding a guy on, I mean, you're standing right next to him. And you've got a first base coach there. And you've got an umpire there. So there's always lots to talk about. The biggest talker was Sean Casey. Remember Sean Casey?
The mayor.
He was definitely the biggest talker.
But he was genuinely interested in everything, right? Hey, how's the family? How's this? How's that?
When they use the term nice guy, that is Sean Casey.
Justin Smoke is a first baseman as well. He's very quiet.
Is he?
That's not something you have to have, right? I mean, you don't have to be.
No, you don't have to have the gift of gab over there. There were some guys that I played against for 10 years and never said a word to them. And vice versa. I mean, not a, how's it going? How you doing? Nothing. Could hear the crickets.
Well, it makes the world go round, right? Some guys love to talk, and some guys just want to play ball. Smoke will check and take outside.
then there were guys like Kirk Gibson, our buddy Kirk Gibson, that would look you right in the eye and say, if you say one word to me, I will kill you.
And he means it.
And
that's not a figure of speech.
I just zipped my mouth and minded my business.
Busted bat and a grounder to third. All right, you want to know what Orlando Hudson was saying to David Murphy? We certainly were wondering that. So more Fox sounds in the game.
Huh? Why can't? I thought, you know what I thought? I thought you thought we hit the bottom of the, because it happened before. Some guys went back and hit the face and they stopped and they hit the wall back there. That's kind of tricky though. Way to swing it, baby.
Leave him with a positive. I like that. The Twins need just one last out, and they will have claimed the first 2 games of this series. Battle of first-place teams out of the Central and the West.
Was it me, or did it seem like David Murphy wanted no part of that conversation?
I think Murphy's thinking, you know what? Hey, appreciate it, but we're losing 8-3.
Exactly.
Ramirez takes outside. A reminder, tonight on Fox, 8 Eastern, 7 Central, as Cops, America's Most Wanted follows. The Minnesota Twins about to get to 29-20. They're without their closer, Joe Nathan. But boy, they're doing a lot of things right, and they are breaking in this new ballpark in style.
And these fans are showing their appreciation. 39,000 plus on their feet. Wanting another home victory here.
And they've got it. Storming back against C.J. Wilson and the Texas bullpen, the Minnesota Twins take it today. Again, your final on Fox is 8-3. We'll wrap things up from Minneapolis very soon, right after these messages from your local Fox station.